kind of sick right now, but I'm hoping I can make it through this video because I just want to get this video done with so I can lay down and go edit my video and feel like I'm doing something productive. So here we go. So I'm actually going to keep my glasses on because I don't want to get more of a headache than I already do. I hate wearing my glasses in the videos because like my window is right there, so it gives a really bad glare on my glasses, but whatever, gotta do what I gotta do. So anyways, ooh. There we go, that's better. Today is not a update video, like a pregnancy update, but it's, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like something I should have talked about before, but we're going to talk about it now. So, I haven't really mentioned on my channel that I am diabetic. I might have mentioned it, but I never really oh, there's still something on my glasses. Like, I might have mentioned it, but I never really, talked about it. So, that's what I'm going to do in today's video. I'm a little out of breath for some reason, so bear with me. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about diabetes and pregnancy today. The main reason I want to talk about this is because ever since finding out that I was pregnant, I've been searching the internet and YouTube. The internet has a little bit more, but I've been searching YouTube for somebody who's just been pregnant and diabetic at the same time and has gone through this journey, so that I could get a little bit of some tips and stuff like that. So upon my discovery, I came up with nothing. So I guess nobody that has been diabetic and pregnant has decided to make any YouTube channels or videos. So, that's fine. Whatever. I can go ahead and be the first. So, diabetes and pregnancy are very, very difficult on their own. So, putting them together is a complete freaking nightmare. So, I just want to throw that out there because if you think pregnancy is hard already, it's 8 million times harder when you're diabetic also. So, first I'm going to go ahead and talk about my diabetes little journey thing, and all of that, and then I'll jump into my most recent thing, because diabetes doesn't always affect my pregnancy. Some days I'm perfectly fine, but then there's other times where it severely affects it. So I'm going to be talking about that because I had a really scary experience the other day. So we're going to go ahead and talk about all of that. I'm trying to keep stay on track, but I just feel so horrible today. Not horrible, but I just right now I think I'm just tired. So yeah, I cannot even really keep a straight train of thought. But like I said, I really want to do this video. So anyways, okay, so back in 2006 is when I discovered that I had diabetes. I was 7 at the time, and it was December. So because it was December, it was flu season. So right, yeah, I think that's flu season. I don't know. But so anyways, the flu was going around. So my mom thought that I was acting kind of weird and just wasn't really myself, because I was one that I tend to eat a lot of snacks, and just food in general I love to eat. And I'm very talkative and social, even as a kid. So during this time, she noticed that I had kind of stopped eating. I wasn't really talking a lot. I was losing a ton of weight, and I was peeing like crazy, and I wasn't even really like drinking water or drinking anything really. And then later on, this didn't start in the beginning, but like towards the very end, I was throwing up all the time and I wasn't even eating. So she took me to the doctor, like my normal regular doctor. He didn't run any tests at all and said that, oh, she just has the flu, it's flu season, like it'll pass. And my mom was like, okay, whatever, because, you know, she didn't know anything about diabetes or any of this. So she just kind of said, okay, whatever. And we thought that it would get better. Well, it didn't get better. So one day I was throwing up really bad again. And so she decided to take me to the ER. So we get to the ER and they told my mom that my blood sugar level was extremely high and they were going to need to put me in an ambulance and send me to the next town over, because I'm kind of from a small town, so I guess they didn't really feel like they had the resources and stuff to assess me. So they sent me over to the town that I live in now. So it's about 30 minutes away. So they sent me here, and I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks, I think, just regulating my blood sugar, and you know, I was a kid, so it's kind of hard to regulate a blood sugar in a kid. So they kept me there for a while, and they had to teach us all about diabetes and all that stuff. So yeah, so that is my whole diabetes diagnosis story, like mini version of it. I can kind of go into more detail. I don't remember a ton of stuff from it because, like I said, I was little, but I do remember some things. So if you guys ever want to hear an actual full in-depth video about my diabetes and my journey with that and everything, because I'm coming up on 13 years this year, so I have plenty of information and all that jazz. So anybody is young or has diabetes in general, I just know it kind of differs from like younger to older people. So yeah, but type 1 is type 1. So if you have type 1 and you need tips, I can help you. If you're just starting out with diabetes, I can help you. If anything with diabetes, I can help you for the most part, because yeah. So anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about my pregnancy and my diabetes. So in the beginning of my pregnancy, my blood sugar was actually on the lower side a lot of the time. Okay, somebody like keeps honking outside and I'm about to get irritated. Like, what is that? Anyways, so my blood sugar tended to be on the lower side. They want your blood sugar, when you're pregnant, they want your blood sugar to be 120 or under. Like, basically they want your blood sugar to stay between 80 to 120 at all times, and they want the highest it to go up to after meals is 120. So in the beginning, it was super easy to keep that number in target because my blood sugar was always on the lower side. So I didn't have to worry about spiking. I didn't have to worry about any of that. So it was a little bit easier in the beginning. Now I'm getting a little bit of insulin resistance, but I don't have it all the time. So if you don't know what insulin resistance is, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just where your body starts resisting your insulin. So say if something actually calls for like 10 units, I'll probably need to take a little bit more, like 15 maybe, or a little bit less than that, because your body isn't going to absorb the insulin as well when you're pregnant. So this doesn't start in the very beginning, like I said. Mine just now started. So, well, not just now, but like a few weeks ago it started. Yeah, so I've been dealing with some insulin resistance lately, but in the beginning didn't have to deal with that. So now that I'm dealing with that, my blood sugar tends to run a little bit higher, but then when I don't have that insulin resistance, it falls low again. So it's really hard to know what amount of insulin to be taking, but that's why you have a doctor, a OB/GYN, and a endocrinologist also during your pregnancy, because obviously the OBGYN is going to worry about your pregnancy, and the diabetes, or the endocrinologist, is going to worry about your diabetes. So it's really nice to have two doctors where you can just specifically go for this certain thing. So anyways, so I went to go see my new endocrinologist for the first time the other, like a week ago. And we had gotten all of my stuff readjusted, got my targets set, got everything figured out how we should do it. So that was awesome. I was practicing that. But the day before I went to go see this doctor, I accidentally took 20 units more Lantus, which is my nighttime medicine. Lantus is a long-acting insulin. I take Novolog and Lantus. So Novolog is my daytime insulin. Lantus is my long-time insulin that I take at night. So I had, because I use the disposable pens. So I wish I had one here to show you, but I don't. So in the disposable Lantus pen that I had, it only had about 20 units left. I was at 40 units at this time, so I needed another 20 units. So I took the first 20 units out of this insulin pen, and then I got a new one. And like, since I was supposed to go up to 40, I was only supposed to take 20 more. So I was talking to my boyfriend at the time and kind of got distracted and accidentally took my full 40. So that put me at 60 units. So I had never done that before, accidentally taken that much Lantus extra. But I looked it up, and you know, it's long acting. So I was like, okay, it's not all gonna work right now. So I'll just, you know, be sure for tomorrow to watch out for whatever. So so the next day, go to my doctor's appointment. Everything was fine. The whole day, everything was fine. So then I get done with that doctor's appointment, and he had told me that he wanted me to come back the next morning before I had eaten or anything and get some blood work done. So during this pregnancy, I wake up at about 5:30 to 7 every single morning, super nauseous and super hungry. So another thing, he also wanted my blood sugar to be around 80 to 90 when I come in the morning. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever, can do that in the morning. So I wake up that next morning and I'm already super nauseous. And mind you, the office for the blood work does not open until 7. So that would have been a whole hour and a half of me sitting there nauseous. And like, I tried to wait until 7, and I actually did wait until 7. But at that time, at that point, I was so nauseous to the point where I couldn't even like go to the office. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have to eat. So I went ahead and ate. And also my blood sugar was like 50s at the time. So it was like, yeah, it's not gonna go, you know, I'm not gonna be able to bring it back up without eating. So I went ahead and ate, and I just called them and told them like, hey, I can't make it in today because blood sugar is being stupid. So they were like, oh, that's fine, whatever, just come in tomorrow. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I went about my day. I ate. I wasn't feeling good, but after I ate and everything, I felt much better. And then I also had to work that day. So I went into work. I worked from 1:30 until 7 p.m. that day. So I went to work, and everything was fine. And then about 2 o'clock-ish, I started getting hungry. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and eat some macaroni and cheese. So I checked my blood sugar. It was like in perfect target. So like I said, they want my blood sugar to be 120 or lower. So at this time it was 114. So I went ahead and I took my normal amount of insulin that I would take for macaroni and cheese with the normal blood sugar and all that jazz, because like I said, we had just adjusted my insulin like the day before. So went ahead, took my insulin, and ate my macaroni and went about my business. About an hour later, I started feeling pretty weird. So I checked my blood sugar and it was 40 something. So I was like, okay, that's pretty low. Let's go ahead and get it back up. Being pregnant, every time my blood sugar drops this low, obviously I get really nauseous. When I'm not pregnant and my blood sugar gets that low, I don't get nauseous, but it can still drop that low. But anyways, so I got super nauseous and stuff. So I wasn't really feeling any food. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and drink a soda. That normally always brings it back up. So I drink my soda, and then I was like, it brought it up to 75. So I was like, okay, cool, we're going up to normal numbers. We're good. So my other coworker, we were like starting on our side work at work. So it was my turn to go clean the bathrooms. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go clean the bathrooms and whatever. So I went to go clean the bathrooms, and when I was almost done, I started to feel like lightheaded and dizzy again and nauseous. So I went out, checked my blood sugar, and it was 38. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So I decided I would try another soda. And like, mind you, during this time, like, we were getting ready for inventory and like doing a whole bunch of stuff. So there's customers in and out. Like, my coworker wasn't up there at the register with me. And it's really hard to deal with the customers and try to deal with my blood sugar all at the same time. But I was trying. So, my blood sugar gets that low, and I end up telling my coworker, like, hey, I need to like sit down because I can't get my blood sugar up and I'm feeling really out of it right now. So she's like, oh yeah, go sit down. So I went in the office and I'm drinking my second soda, and I'm just thinking, like, what else can I do? Like, my blood sugar won't go up, like, And then I'm like halfway through this soda and I throw it all up again. Like, the first soda, the second soda, threw everything up. That was my first, like, kind of like my sign, like, all right, something's not right. So, after I threw those up, my coworker was like, do you need to go home? Because, like, that's totally fine. I don't see your blood sugar getting better. Because I still had an hour at work. She's like, I don't see your blood sugar getting better within the next hour. So if you need to go, that's fine. And I always feel really bad leaving during my shift. So, especially when we were, like, getting almost done with everything. So I was like, all right, I'm trying to think, should I stay or should I leave? So I decided to go home, and so I'm like doing my end of shift stuff, clocking out and all that, and as soon as I clocked out, I needed to throw up again. So I threw up again, and then I left, and my blood sugar was still about 30s, 40s at this time. So by the time I got home, I was just so out of it, like I could barely see, I could not think straight. But I was just telling myself, if I could just get inside and eat like a bowl of cereal or something, I think I'll be fine. So I get inside, I get some cereal, I lay down, and I'm like trying to eat my cereal, but I had like no energy at all, and I was so nauseous. So I'm eating the cereal, and then I'm like, all right, I need to go back downstairs because I was rushing inside so fast that I had left my purse in the car. So I run outside to grab my purse and get my meter out so I can check to make sure like my blood sugar is going up. And I get outside and I sit down and I throw up all the cereal I just ate. And I was like, oh, nice. I checked my blood sugar and it's 41. And I was like, okay, so it's still low. I can't keep my cereal down. I don't know what to do. So at this point, I'm kind of like panicking because I can't think straight. I can barely see. I'm home alone at this point. It was just a mess, and it was pretty scary because I've never had that happen before. I go ahead and I grab some orange juice from the fridge because I was like, I have to do something. Like, something has to get it up at least a little bit so that I can, take myself somewhere or something. So I drink some orange juice and I started to feel my consciousness like coming back. So I was like, all right, I'm able to think a little bit more straight. Let's check it again and see what it's at. So it was at 55 at the time, and I gave it a few minutes to see if it was going up or dropping, and it started dropping again. So I was like, okay, well, while I can think properly, I'm going to go ahead and call the ER and just ask them like what they think I should do. So I called and they connected me to my OBGYN's on-call nurse. So once I told her what was going on, she was like, yeah, it's probably best that you go into the ER because if you can't keep anything down, there's no way that you can get that up on your own. So I was like, alright, of course. So I go drive myself to the ER because at this point, like I said, I had a little bit more consciousness. My blood sugar was going back down, but it was high enough at this point that I could drive myself there. So I drove myself to the ER, and they kept me for about 3 hours, but they were able to get my blood sugar up and stabilized and all of that. So I have a little bit of a scar left. The bruising is going away finally for my IV. But yeah, so that was my first pregnancy, like my first diabetic pregnancy scare. And like really my first diabetic scare ever in my whole 13 years. Like I've never had it to where my blood sugar wouldn't go back up. So that was really kind of nerve-wracking and scary to go through, especially while being pregnant, because it's just like, you know, I don't know. It was just really, really scary. But I'm glad that nothing happened, and I was able to make it through and everything. But yeah, so I'm just happy that I'm here. I'm telling the story. And yeah, I'm gonna try to incorporate my diabetes into my pregnancy videos more, and try to make more like diabetic related videos because there really isn't a lot out there. So yeah, and I know growing up with diabetes, I hated it because I felt like I was like all by myself. You know, I didn't have anybody that was like me, you know. So yeah, I just feel like it's beneficial to have these type of videos out there. Yeah, so I hope this video wasn't too all over the place and you guys were kind of able to follow along and everything about what happened. But yeah, so as far as I know, baby is okay. I am okay. Everything is good. Really happy I got this video done because I feel pretty sick right now, so I'm ready to lay down. If there's anything that you guys want me to talk about, leave it in the comments. Like I said, if there's anything diabetic related that you want to ask me, or like anything that anybody is wanting to know, just ask me because I have plenty of answers, I feel like. And I don't see a lot of this stuff on YouTube, so excuse me. So yeah, just leave everything out in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe for more if you enjoyed this video. I hope this isn't the first video you're watching of mine because I'm like super spacey right now. But if you are, hello, welcome to me. I am super spacey all the time, but this is just worse today. I'm gonna go like find some food or something and lay down, but yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.